The Smart is in a bad way and I'm not happy. Hello and a very warm welcome to another video from Auto Night. Now it's absolutely pissing with rain. I have very little voice. I'm just getting over some sort of man flu, laryngitis type thing, and if there's one thing you need for making YouTube videos, it's a voice. That's the one thing I didn't have, so there has been a relative period of silence from me. Yesterday I thought I would take the Smart for a drive as it was quite a sunny day, and I thought I'd take it to work and test out the new aircon. If you've been watching my previous videos where I replaced the condenser and regassed it, I had high hopes for this. It didn't go to plan, and about 5 minutes into my journey, a whining, howling kind of noise started from the rear of the car, which I expect was the compressor. During the testing of this, and to try and listen to it and get it at the right rev range to hear it, I ended up going through a speed camera which flashed me as well. I'm not a reckless driver, I was only slightly over, but it wasn't a good day. I was really annoyed, and as the journey progressed, it's about an 18-mile journey to work, I began to smell burning, like an acrid, almost like a car fire smell, and by the time I arrived at work, the car absolutely reeked. The whining had stopped and the air conditioning had ceased to operate. I had to get to work. I have a role where I have to be there. I can't just be late. It's operational role. So I had to carry on. I could have turned the air conditioning off, but at the end of the day, I need to understand what's going on with this thing. So as you can see, the weather is diabolical. The noise was coming from the back here and the smell. It's now making noise whether the air conditioning is turned on or off, and I will try and demonstrate here. Now, as you will hear, there's a slight change in engine tone when I press the button for aircon, but it's not working, it's doing nothing. So I'm going to take this offside rear wheel off and the little plastic guard down and take a look at the compressor. I think it's had it. Okay, so the car's jacked up, wheel is off, supported on an axle stand. I am going to remove this plastic cover here, which will give me access to the compressor. To remove these clips, the centre needs to be extracted. And you can see here that when we push this centre back through it, it splays out these clips which holds it into place. There's another one at the back here. And then this comes away. Okay, so there's the compressor. I can see that something has actually run out of it. I've just checked that. That's not oil, it's not wet, it's actually dried. So that's something that's run out of it and melted, possibly some plastic from an internal component. But my assumption at this point is that this compressor has seized and the engine continued to drive it, and it's burnt out this clutch on the end here and destroyed it. Smell it from here, it's disgusting, it's acrid. That's with the aircon off, and that's with the aircon on. So we're in a position now where I know that the compressor is defective. They're not actually that dear second hand. I've seen them on eBay for like 25 quid, some of them more, some of them 45. Now I don't know how long this air conditioning system was out of service, because I've had this car like a year, so I don't know if that compressor had sat idle for years. It could have been, but I just don't know how long the system had been out of gas. On that basis, it was always a bit of an unknown as to whether there would be other problems with the air conditioning system when it came back into life. Now fortunately there is a separate belt that drives that compressor, and this might sound like a bad thing to do, but I'm going to cut that belt because it only drives that compressor, and there's no point in trying to spin that compressor in a compromised condition, and I don't want to drive a car that sounds like a bandsaw anyway. So I'm going to go right on ahead and do that now. I'm going to make sure I cut the right one at this point. Well, that would be really sickening. Okay, so the belt's off. Spinning up this pulley, I can feel the coarseness in it immediately. That is shot. But as you will see now when I start it up, without that compressor turning, it's going to be a whole different sound. So once again, it's just worth clarifying that this belt only drives the aircon compressor, and the other belt there, that takes care of the alternator and the water pump. Just refitting this shield. I'm going to leave this video here. It's not the happiest one. It's really rainy as well. I didn't want to be doing this today before having to work a shift. But I have to bring it to you as it is. It's not always puppy dogs and kittens, and in the real world things do go wrong. And as I said, there's no way of knowing when that compressor was last functional. It could have been out for 5 years sat idle, and if that's the case, it's not really a massive surprise that now it's suddenly having demands placed on it, that it may completely shit itself, which I think it clearly has. There will be an update, but cutting off that belt has bought me some time. I can now just decide at my leisure what I'm going to do, source a pump. Obviously I've got to degas it and regas it again, and that's a ball ache. But that, again, that's the way it goes. So thank you very much for watching. Do feel free to like and subscribe. There is more content to come, and we'll be back to business as usual. Thank you and goodbye.